Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon.
It's like Mary Hartman.
Yeah.
It'll never be normal ever again. It's always going to be laughed at.
It's good.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Todd Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs. We are thrilled to death that you are listening to our show, this little podcast of ours that we are just about, almost, we're encroaching on 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
How many episodes?
I think it's April 13th is the was the first
Wow.
post. Yeah.
Holy moly.
So we just
Time
did 260. We just hit 260 of this, so this will be 261.
Nice.
So
And what a better way to celebrate 261.
Exactly. Our guest on the show tonight helped us get to some of those sporadically and against his will. Guest, who are you?
Mike Trombley, Native Audio.
Mikey Trombley. We still call him Mikey. I don't know if he loves that or hates it, but it doesn't matter. Too bad.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's stuck.
Yeah, it did. So for those of you who have backtracked to previous episodes, you would have heard Mike talking about native audio. Well, actually, probably not so much native audio until more recently, which we will get into. But Mike, what was it previously? What was your pedal company previously called?
It was Red House Electronics.
Red House Electronics. So if you have a Red House Electronics pedal, it's worth something.
Millions of dollars.
Maybe.
I have mine.
Yes, maybe in Japan.
And Red House stickers.
Yep. Anyway, so we're really excited to have him back on. It's been a little while because he's been a really, really busy fella and advancing his life and doing big grown-up type things and stuff.
That's
I mean, he is an adult, so I don't mean to paint him out as a 15-year-old kid or anything.
Well, I was 15 when I came on the show originally.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Very close. Not too far off from that.
He's going to be 21 now, right?
Yeah, 21, guys. No, 22. Sorry.
6 years ago.
You can vote next year.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
Twice if you're in Texas.
Big
Yeah. So, anyways, we're going to have a great time catching up with Mike. And in the meantime, Mike, where can people go to check out what you're doing?
Yeah, just head to nativeaudio.com and you can find out everything that's going on, all things Native Audio over there.
Excellent.
Sure.
Nice.
Beautiful. We need to... wait, hang on.
Stop.
Tony?
Yes?
If anybody has just stumbled upon our show for the very first time,
Okay.
what can one expect?
One can expect to discuss gear.
Okay.
Specifically boutique gear. Mm-hmm. Even more specifically, we talk to the makers and the shakers in the boutique gear world.
Yep.
That's things
101.
And well, yeah, I was going to get to that, but thanks for reminding me, Jared. I appreciate that. I mean, I was on a roll. Yeah. I was on a roll.
Don't let Jared anywhere near guns.
I have a couple.
What does this thing do?
Nope.
Oh, it's in the military, you ass.
Yeah.
We have guns there, just FYI.
Well, anyhow, we like to talk to people who make guitars and amps and pedals and accessories and all the good stuff. And as Jared so kindly pointed out, we occasionally do a 101 episode where we learn stuff about stuff that we should know.
That's correct. And we have a fantastic one coming up very shortly.
I can hardly wait.
Really, really, really excited. You guys are going to love this.
Domo arigato.
Yes. So anyways, that's what you can expect from the show. And if you care to venture backwards in our library, don't go all the way back. It's just maybe skip the first 5, you know, unless you want a really good laugh and don't judge us too hard for it. Everybody has to start somewhere. And that's where we started in those because that's the beginning. I know I'm painting myself into a corner here.
It's fine.
All right. So we're going to get on with this.
Do we have somebody to thank?
Yeah, we do need to thank a couple people. We need to thank
Road.
Right on. Thank you, Rode, for providing some mighty fine gear for us. We are eternally grateful for our friends down there in Australia making super, super duper quality gear. Much thanks.
Yes.
Not a whole lot of other announcements. However, I guess I did want to I don't know, it's not an announcement per se, but I'm just really excited because there's a lot of shows and stuff coming up. We're finally, I feel like we're out of the woods, knock on wood, with, all of the stuff. Everybody's just like, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. We're all out now. So all the concerts are like coming out and everything.
Yes.
And our friend Mike, his favorite guitar player, Tony, do you know who this is?
Tony Dudzik?
Close.
Okay.
John Frusciante.
Oh.
Yes. And and for a very good reason. And it's always fun, like if we're at the guitar show, like basically Mike just stands there and plays his pedals.
I just play all Chili Peppers.
That's it. That's all he does.
Yep.
And it's great because I love somebody who's just got that much passion about whatever it is. If you got a passion and you fly your flag, good on you.
Yeah.
But they are coming out. They got 22. They're going all over the place.
Who's they?
Except here.
Who's they?
Red Hot Chili Peppers, man.
Well, could you say that?
Well, we were talking about the Red Hot Chili Peppers, so I wouldn't.
No, you were talking about Frusciante.
Who's in the Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Now he is.
Ugh.
He's back.
Been back. Old news. Pick up the
they're
almanac.
not stopping in Cincy or Columbus.
No, which is crazy. It's like
it's insane. I'm having to go to Nashville.
Oh wow!
To go check them out.
You got your arm twisted, huh?
I know a place you can stay.
That's correct.
Yeah, I do. In the what was he calling it? The second bedroom or something?
Yeah.
What was it called?
The Dungeon of Doom.
The bonus room.
The bonus room.
We have 2 other guest rooms. You can use one of those.
Yeah.
The bonus room. Not the bonus room, though.
No.
That's off limits.
That is off limits. So anyways, yeah, I was excited when I heard that because
cool.
I immediately thought of Mike and I was like, oh man, he's going to love life.
I am highly thrilled. I've burned through so much Red Hot Chili Peppers like material on YouTube.
Yeah,
in the last couple weeks. Yeah.
That's cool. I just got tickets to. I'm very, very excited because my kids. I don't want to say, well, I growed them up right, or anything like that.
You done growed them up right.
But I mean, I'm gonna take a little bit of credit here. One of my middle daughter's favorite band is Psychedelic Furs.
Oh, okay.
And I'm a huge fan of Psychedelic Furs, Echo and the Bunnymen, like Adamant, like I love all of that stuff. And it just so happens. Oh, and one of my biggest guitar influence was Billy Zoom from X. And it just so happened that X and Psychedelic Furs are coming to our state for 3 shows.
3 shows.
What?
I'm definitely going to 2 of them.
Yep.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to swing all 3.
I think they're playing Pittstown too, right?
Nope. Well, I don't know.
Pittsburgh, yeah.
Possibly. But I was just like, wait, what? I was shocked. I almost didn't even look because I was like, I'm just going to be disappointed because I've been waiting for them to come here for the longest time. And then I was like, 1, 2, 3, what? So I'm taking my whole family and we're going to see the first one. And then I'm going up with bandmates and band friends to the one up in Cleveland, I think. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited. And then later on, I get to go see The Damned and Blondie play together.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
It just keeps getting better.
Can I share a Chili Peppers story?
Please.
So this is at a NAMM show out in L.A. or Anaheim, wherever it is. And my wife was with me, Jen, and she always has this habit, and whether if we go to New York or anywhere else like this, she has a knack for citing celebrities. I mean, constantly. And I by the time I turn my big head around, they're gone. so we are. This is after the show had closed for the day, and we're just walking around downtown Disney, in Disneyland, and all of a sudden, Jen says, there's the Chili Peppers.
Really loud?
Really loud. Which is
Tony!
It's uncharacteristic. And now this was one of the only times that I actually turned my big old head around fast enough to see the Chili Peppers being escorted through this crowd of downtown Disney. They're going to, I think there was the Hard Rock or something down at the end that they were playing a show. And it was just hilarious. And, it was there. And,
what year was that?
Oh my God. That would have been probably early 2000s, maybe.
That's going to sound awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. The only person that I've seen escorted around Disneyland when I was living there was Edward James Olmos was being escorted around Disneyland. That was my Edward James Olmos. That's pretty good, right? Come on.
That was pretty.
Yeah, it was great. It was the best I ever heard.
The best one?
Best one ever.
But we've digressed.
I digress.
You digress too much, man. Yeah, so anyways, hooray for concerts. Hooray for doing that back. Our pal Drew Floppy is constantly posting. He's on the road doing all that. The Smashing Pumpkins are coming back. They're doing a big tour. Super exciting. They're going to be here.
Duran is coming to Columbus.
What?
Duran is coming to Columbus.
Wow.
I heard one of their old hit
With
songs.
who?
It's part of this 3-day festival.
Wow.
I got to hear Ordinary World, man. That's my favorite song from them.
That's a good one.
Great one.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get on with this because this isn't the, hey, look at all these little bands that are touring again, podcast.com.
It'd be fun.
So let's find out what's going on in our music world this week. We're going to start off with Tony, and then we can dip into Mikey's world.
Is there a podcast that does that?
Dip into Tony?
No. Oh. Old bands that are touring, coming to Columbus.
Shut it. Go.
I want to start that.
No, go.
Okay, so Todd, in my music world this week, a couple of things. So I'm collecting parts for my new Flying V project that we discussed last time.
Yes.
And I had a pair of Seymour Duncan pickups that were just uncovered standards. And I got a hold of my good buddy, Zach, at Brandon Wound.
Yeah.
And I said, Zach, just like that, I said it. I said, Zach.
Yeah.
I need to get gold screws and gold covers on these. Can you do that? And he wrote back and said, absolutely.
Nice.
Absolutely. There might have been a word in between abso and lutely, too. I'm not sure what.
Okay.
But anyhow, those showed up. I mean, God, I sent them out last week, and they were here Monday or Tuesday or something like that. So it was great.
He doesn't mess around.
No, he doesn't. So God bless him. Zach's a great guy, and if you need pickups, he's the guy to go to.
I would say so.
And if you need to have some things like goofy stuff like me that I just didn't have gold covers or gold screws, he can do that too. Secondly, I went on and on and on episodes ago about the new Rickenbacker book.
Yes.
And I got the super deluxe version.
Awesome.
Backer. That's right. I can't stop saying it that way.
Tony.
I'm sorry, Kenny. Backer, my Rickenbacker. So I'm on the feed for the Phantom Publishing, which does that. Put out that book, and they just announced that you can get the paperback version. Now, I got the super deluxe hardback in a binder kind of thing. Cost stupid money. It still makes me shake my head, but it's a beautiful book.
Well, if you're saying that's something.
It's expensive, but they just worked out a deal with Amazon. So now you can get it free shipping because these were printed and are distributed in the UK. And so shipping from the UK is expensive, especially on a big, heavy book.
For sure.
So they have the soft-bound, soft-cover books available through Amazon for $47.50 and free shipping.
Wow.
Which is a great deal. And it's a beautiful book. And actually, for purposes of, if I'm doing my research, whether it be at my computer or in other rooms of the house, this is a much more convenient and easier to flip around book. But it's a beautiful, beautiful book. If you love, even if you just like Rickenbackers.
Or want to broaden your horizons.
I mean, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful, full color photography. I can't get enough of it. And so there's my plug. And I did pay my $47.50.
Yeah.
So I got it there.
That's great. But maybe we should talk to the people who put that together.
Well, we're in discussions.
Okay, that's
my
great.
people are talking to their people.
I love that. Thank you, Tony.
Okay,
Mikey, how about yourself?
My guitar world. I've been purging a lot of my gear, dude.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. I noticed that I've been just sitting on like a lot of pedals and amps that I haven't been playing too much. Like and I've been kind of just I like to have one single guitar that I mainly play, along with one single amp that I mainly play. So I've been just purging a bunch of my gear.
I didn't know you had any other guitars or amps.
Yeah, dude, I got tons of other guitars that has, I just been kind of throwing a bunch of stuff. My reverb shop has been popping, I will say, and just been trying to clear out a bunch of gear. But aside from that, digging through a bunch of this gear that I got, that I'm swimming through, I started kind of breathing some new life into a couple of my older amps. And kind of just tuning them up. Some of them haven't been fired up since 2019, I think, or something, 3 years. Some of them have been fired up. And one that we were talking about before we started this podcast was the Princeton.
Oh yeah.
68 Princeton. It was the one that I would take to all the guitar shows.
Yeah.
Yep.
And stuff. And and fortunately enough, I bought a 68 reissue Princeton to take in place of that one at the guitar show that we ended up going to, that I ended up getting into the accident.
Oh my God.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that Princeton got crushed. But fortunately it wasn't this one that I have here, because this one's my grandfather's Princeton. So
boy, that was foresight, right?
Was that? Yeah, it's seriously. So anyways, I just started going through and kind of cleaning up. I had a 68 Bassman Head 2 that I cleaned up. And so that's running perfectly fine now. And then the Princeton is running fine now. So those I've just been kind of playing straight into the amp. It feels like for the last couple weeks here, just really kind of focusing on more, I guess, playing rather than the pedal stuff.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Right on.
Yeah.
A quick question: when you had both of those, did you feel that the reissue was like, if you were blindfolded and someone was A-Bing them, do you think you would have been able to tell much?
Yeah. I could totally tell. It's definitely a Coke and Pepsi type of thing. Like I could totally tell the difference. And to be honest, I think I prefer the reissue.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. It's weird. And I know some people might say, your amp's not set up right. Blah, blah, but yeah, blasphemy. But I will say, like, they did a great job at doing the reissues, because I ended up losing that 68 reissue Princeton in the accident. And following the accident, once I was able to actually get my brain straight to be able to play, I went out and I purchased a 68 reissue deluxe, and that has been the amp, like the platform amp for all my pedal production, just because it's the amount of headroom it has is perfect, and the frequency response is perfect. And with the 68 deluxe, it has the Bassman configuration, I guess, in one of the channels. But I could totally tell the difference for sure.
Keep an eye on your input voltage.
Oh yeah,
we talked about that in the last episode on the deluxes.
Yeah, well,
especially the reissues.
Yeah, we'll hit. Okay.
Because deluxes are very susceptible if you have too much voltage going in.
Yeah.
The plate voltage goes astronomically high.
Yes.
Well, and what I've what I've seen on some of those that they do run those pretty hot. So yeah, no, that makes sense.
Excellent.
Just a recap from our last episode.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, and so just briefly, so that you have some idea of what we were talking about. We were just talking about voltage regulation, like if you're out at a gig, and things that you can do to maintain that in the event that you either have a valuable old amp that doesn't have, I guess, standardized voltage, or if you're playing at clubs that are just wackadoodle and their electrical is all, jacked. All right, Jared, how about yourself?
So not this past weekend, but the weekend before, I had one of my best buds come down to Nashville and stay with me.
Who's that?
Todd. And
Todd
we went
who?
to
Oh, shut it. Let him tell the story.
Todd Novak of the Valentinos.
Yeah. Oh, that one.
And the Guitar Knobs.
Wow.
So he came down. Todd came down and stayed, and he was a gracious man and let us ride in his car down to Franklin, Tennessee, to the Nashville Guitar Show. And
nice.
I gotta say, man, I have never seen as many valuable vintage instruments in one place as I saw here in Nashville. There were some really nice collections, and for me, as a fan of vintage guitars, I was impressed and happy. And even what was even better was when you walk in, you immediately see people you know. So since I got out of Brandonwound and moved here and went to Gibson, I have not been talking to any of these people in much of a capacity at all because of I'm just Gibson now. I don't deal with customers or dealers or anybody. So it was really, really great to connect with the old friends of the industry again. And
that's awesome.
And hanging out with Todd and my boss Jason, and he came to the show and we kind of walked around a little bit. And
Nice.
when we got there, Todd was gone. I mean, Todd has this agenda he does. I think he scopes out everything that's there. Mm-hmm. And like explain your agenda, Todd.
Well,
if you don't mind.
We touched a little bit about this on the last episode. Jared wasn't able to be with us.
Oh, my apologies.
No, you're fine. You're fine. But I will just briefly say that I try to go in and just buzz all the tables for weird or unusual or whatever kind of pedals that just because it's fun, and it's something that I'm not going to go in and buy an expensive guitar. I don't have the capital to do that. That's not where I'm at. If I see something that is a great deal or something, then I can try to do that. But so I do look for the weird kind of stuff that I could probably afford and get out of there with. So I start there. I go, I do that, and then I go back again, and I start looking at other smalls. Mm-hmm. And then I start looking at weird guitars that are hidden in the corners and stuff that aren't, they're,
no one's paying
flame
attention.
top, Bazinga 25 grand, stuff. And then I started looking around at guitar related things like, albums and weird memorabilia stuff. And yeah, that's it.
Speaking of which, I found two really cool pieces, Gibson pieces that I bought. One for myself and, actually one for the Vault at Gibson and one for a friend at Gibson. And I knew he could use those two parts because he has a perfect guitar for him. But there's these two really old 70s versions of these strap locks. And these two little tiny strap locks are in these, big boxes that are big enough to hold pickups. Well, you know how big strap locks or strap buttons, not locks, I'm sorry. Strap buttons, they're very small. I mean, they're tiny. They're not even a half-inch in diameter. They're like 3/8, or depending on what brand. But
They're small.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really going into that. But anyway.
We're getting into an after-school special of...
I know.
Fractions. Fun with fractions.
I can't stop explaining the size of these strap buttons.
Very tiny.
Really cool boxes. And I bought these things just for the boxes. I didn't really care what was in them. But I felt like that was a great score.
Yeah, it
so
was
just,
good
it
memorabilia.
Yeah. Did you point those out, Todd?
No, I didn't, Jared. But I did put them in my bag.
Somebody pointed them out.
Yeah, I did not.
My boss did. I think Jason did.
Yeah. So it was a good time. Good time. We
was
ran
a really
into Co Schneider and Brian Nutter, which was really cool.
That's nice.
A lot of
Former
good-
guests and good friends.
guys.
How about
Too many people to mention.
our little friend Zach Broyles? Was he there?
No.
At least we didn't see him.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see Zach there.
Yeah. So-
anyway, what's up with you, Todd?
Well, my Guitar Week is split up into two. What? Why are you pointing at things? We already did
Mike.
Mikey.
Did we?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. How deep
Yeah.
are you into that Manhattan
Selling
jug
his
there,
gear.
buddy?
That's right. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm here I am trying to
Yeah.
keep Todd
Deluxe.
straight, and I'm.
Yeah.
Overvoltage.
I remember.
So, anyways, I had two things that happened. So I got my Sound City Concord back
Ah, yes.
from Rob, who made it from a, hey, you could either just leave this on the street or you could make it better. And I chose to make it better because it is kind of a unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't seen even a picture out in the wild of the amp that I have. And all I've seen is black Tolex. This was a blonde at one time. It's like a butterscotch now. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna make it so it works and makes sound and
So how does it sound?
It sounds it's like a it's not warm. It's kind of, I guess it's kind of Fendery, except it's more straight than that. It's almost like, it's hard to explain. It's not like an amp that I don't.
Is it clean?
It has clean, but what's cool is it's got 2 channels. So it's a 2-channel amp, but there's dual inputs for both. There's a low and a high for each of the channels. Mm-hmm. And the low and the high, when I wasn't going to go into it because I was like, well, I mean, the low sounds pretty good, and what's the high going to be really? And I plugged in and I was like, whoa, hello. And all of a sudden I was getting into breakup territory. And that was cool. And then there's this thing called a sensitivity switch on the back, which basically it turns it into like from a 4-cylinder engine to an 8-cylinder engine like immediately. And I'm like, wow, there was a lot of oomph coming out of that amp. And I found that to be interesting because the speakers, which are original speakers, there's 50-year-old speakers in there.
Yeah. Fanes.
And the square ones before they went all circled on them. I was worried. I was like, man, I don't know if these speakers are going to be totally handled it. So I was like, that was really cool. So now I'm just tweaking around, just trying to get it like, where's the sound that I like on it and everything. I'm going to do a demo on it, probably here at John's because it deserves it. This one somehow survived, and it's got all the original working stuff on it. It's original tubes. Everything is pretty much original on it except for the power cord.
What's your main go-to amp?
Right now, so I was doing the Supro for a long time.
I do remember that.
And but now I've been playing this Marshall Origin 50, which I'm really liking, and is incredibly versatile for what I'm doing. I think it helped me get a little bit closer to my sound with a little less manipulation.
I'll give you $50 for the Supro.
No, I still love the Supro. It's just this is where I'm at right now with it. So anyway, so that was one thing, and so I'm excited about that. I'm going to try to make as much content as I can about it because virtually none exists out there in the world.
No, there's just a handful of photographs.
Yeah. And then the other thing, which was really neato, is my drummer sent me a text last night. He said, dude, you're not going to believe this. I just got off the plane. I'm like, that doesn't sound very exciting. Says I'm standing in the middle of the airport and our song, Bring Me the Night, is playing over the PA in the airport. And I was like, what? That's awesome. That was like really cool. And he's like, this is such a surreal moment. I can't believe it. And so I was just trying to think of like, what would it be like when you, after a long, long trip, you walk off and then you hear your own song. And, you know, we've been played on the radio a couple times, which is super neat. But
I think it was
a different thing.
Strange and
exciting.
wonderful.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was exciting and strange and wonderful. So, very cool.
Congrats, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Anyhow, so let's get on with this. That's all four of us. Tony, just in case you were checking.
Wait, I didn't say what was going on in my music world this week.
Yes, I think the Luxardo cherries spoke for you. Anyways, we're going to forego the four on the floor because Mike Trombley, who did his four on the floor already, has already stated he is a man of consistency and doesn't
rigidity.
Hasn't changed anything at all. So we're going to forego that. Okay, so we have as our guest former co-host and well, actually a lot of former things. You were a former bachelor. You were a former owner of Red House Electronics, which then became Native Audio, which I think that was a really smart move. We've talked about that before because when you first came on, you were on episode number 38. So if everybody's trying to go like, well, I want to hear the first one that he was on.
Wow, 38.
It was episode number 38.
Yeah, OG.
And he was also, and that was as owner of the Red House Electronics, and then came on as episode 122 as the owner of Native Audio. And we kind of spotted him just like we get most of the other people. I was like, what's this on the Instagram? And then I was like, what? This dude's here in Ohio. Let's talk to him. So, yeah, that's how it all started. And Mike has he has a profound understanding of electronics. He's got a lot of letters in capitals following all of his degrees and knowledge isms.
Boo.
Yeah. So, Mike, can you elaborate a little bit on the education side and your knowledge base?
Yeah, on the education side, I have a bachelor's of science in electrical engineering and a master's of science in electrical engineering. So I got a couple years under my belt of all things electronics.
Yeah. He was like ditching out on our shows to go study whatever.
That's right. I think I was doing my master's at the time.
I think you were, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's right.
Indeed. And then you left school. You got picked up right away by a pretty good gig.
Yeah.
You want to explain what that is for the
Do you want me to explain the
explain
that. I don't know how depth I can go into that, but I was working for a large entity, I guess, doing electronics for them, working as electronics engineer. And it was an all right gig, but dude, I just love the music stuff and was still kind of hustling on the side with the Native Audio stuff.
Well, and one of the things about your products that I think caught a lot of people's attention really, really early on is I think I could be stepping on a lot of toes here, but there weren't a ton of people outside of some of the bigger dogs like Strymon and Chase Bliss who were doing really solid DSP-based engineering, correct?
Yeah, you're actually right. Because when I originally started doing some of the stuff, I was trying to go on the market and look for the first product behind that was the Heatwave which is now the Rising Sun, which I think you want to name the Sonora. if I'm correct.
It is the Sonora.
the Sonora, which Todd today is still going to be the Sonora. Anyways, the Sonora was the second pedal in the Red House Electronics line, and that had the tap and ramp features, which tap tremolo at the time was something that really wasn't common in the industry. So, and if it was, it didn't have the functionality that I really wanted out of it. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just go home and program my own and kind of create my own. And that's kind of from that, the rest of the product line has kind of developed from that intuitive kind of feature set.
Yeah. Well, and I was just so impressed with that, especially, getting out to your house, and it's, it's always weird when you go like, oh, I wonder what this workshop is like and everything, because you got an incredibly intelligent dude making pedals that, I mean, the amount of stuff that you're able to cram into a pedal is pretty remarkable. And to do, you have focused on your efficiencies within a single format. You haven't really deviated from that format. 2 buttons, 2 foot switches, and the same pedal enclosure. So
exactly,
you said how much can I do? But I don't want to do too much, but I want to make sure that I'm providing enough for someone to really sculpt sound out of each of your pedals. And I had this, I don't know that I had an idea, but when I got to your house and saw, like, first of all, Mike's really tall and lanky, and it was at like this desk that he probably got when he was 13, and this tiny, like, sad little desk lamp that maybe had like a 35-watt bulb in it. And I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? What is this? This is your entire operation is right here. And you had to kind of like inch around the bed because it was so close to the window. He's like, yeah, and there's my amp. And I'm like, where do you play it? And I was impressed that you're like, I don't need a workshop. I do it here. This is the thing. And I was like, dang, man, you're a resourceful dude.
It's changed since then.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
No, of course, man.
But yeah, you have made the most of everything that you're able to do, and whether that is in the space that you're in, or the people that you're associated with, or the knowledge that's at your fingertips, and corralling those things and giving yourself your own parameters, which I think is tough for a lot of, especially beginning builders to do. It's difficult to kind of understand, if I create a vision, if I have a vision, if I've got a roadmap, what is it? And is that something that I should be aware of now, or do you just get in and just start swimming? And you seem to have had an understanding of foresight and a little bit more planning when it came to that. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think originally it was kind of this thing where I knew it was something that I wanted to do. And so, just like you said, just kind of started doing it. And that's kind of where the name Red House Electronics started. But then, I guess personality-wise, in our previous conversations, you can pick up, I'm kind of a person that really enjoys, like I was telling you that I was purging out a bunch of my gear. I really enjoy kind of minimalism. Just as a lifestyle, I less is more to me. And that kind of same thing that kind of flows through my blood, it's kind of the same thing that when it comes to designing, I kind of incorporate that. And, there's and Todd, I don't know if you know this guy, but his name's Seth Godin.
Yeah.
Seth Godin, he does marketing, right?
Yep.
And which is right
sort
down
of
your
a
line,
marketing
Todd.
guru guy.
Yeah, marketing guru. Very, very interesting because the way he approaches marketing is not from a typical standpoint that he would have done marketing in the 70s or the 80s. But because of the development of the internet, there's just everybody has access to everything now.
Yep.
And to be able to stand above the noise, you have to have something that's unique to yourself.
Yeah.
And in a couple of his books, All Marketers Are Liars, This Is Marketing, a couple of those books, really great books. But what he kind of talks about is try to find, I guess, the corner where your brand sits and kind of dive into that fully. Mm-hmm. And really, that's kind of what Native Audio has done in the last couple of years. I've kind of done it without that, but then after reading that book, I'm like, holy crap, I need to hit on it more. And so I guess where Native Audio really strives and really kind of pops out is, one, the Native culture that we share.
Yeah, explain that a little bit. Just give it. I mean, I know you've done 2 episodes of this. So, okay, whatever. But touch on that again.
No, of course. So really quick, just 2 things that really kind of pop out in Native Audio is, 1, Native American, 2, less is more. Mm-hmm. And for the Native American side of it, my background, I'm Blackfeet. I was born and raised on the Blackfeet Reservation, and then, that's my heritage is Blackfeet. And so what I try to do, and this is kind of like what the brand and Native Audio is about, is it's about, because as musicians, we also share stories, right?
Yeah.
When we play songs, what we're doing is we're sharing a story that we wrote with music. And so Native Audio, kind of our entire purpose is to kind of help other musicians share their story through sound. And one of the biggest ways we try to do that is to make it easier for you to share your story. And the brand itself is all about sharing stories. Each product in itself has a specific logo, a specific design and name that is special to that one product. And each of those logos or those graphics share a story. And that's kind of one of the really cool things about Native Audio is we're kind of sharing our culture through the products and really just spreading awareness, because it's Native American culture is not covered too much through just general education. So we kind of take a moment in the industry to kind of share a little bit about the culture ourselves.
Yeah. Solid stuff, man. I think one thing that's interesting is hearing you say less is more, where whenever we were hanging out, or I remember getting into a very lively conversation in Chicago. And I'm like, why are you putting so much stuff into one pedal? I can't do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that was one of those things that I think is like, I understand the less is more concept that you are working with, but within the pedals that you are doing, you are maybe, in my opinion, it's sort of like, right is more, not necessarily less, because your pedals are loaded with the right amount of things, but they're not sparse. And the reason I'm drawing that distinction is because it's not like you get a pedal and it kind of just does one thing only. It doesn't do that. You have created a way for anybody to get in and really have a pretty good range of options for your own dynamics.
Yeah, and I guess something that we kind of hit on is, so less is more. You can kind of almost say that from like a functionality standpoint.
Yes.
For example, our Ghost Ridge reverb, 2 knobs, 2 switches. It's a multi-reverb with presets, where a couple others in the industry have products that go from preset 0 to 200 and something. From a functionality standpoint, what we try to do is really take something and give the musician something that they can work with, like at rehearsal. They can dial in a sound and then they got their sound. So that way, then when it comes to the live situation, they could easily pull it up. And so I guess less is more. When I say that, I don't necessarily mean like, knobs and stuff, but more of like a functionality standpoint.
Yeah.
And to be honest, we just did this with one of our most recent products. It's not the Sonora, but the Rising Sun V2. The Rising Sun V2. What we actually did with that one is that one kind of got a refresh. We ended up removing. We actually removed the external control on it. We removed some of the secondary functions, so that way we actually kind of took some of the stuff that was hiding in the back and we kind of moved it to the front. And I think going forward, we're definitely looking every single product that we do release. We're trying to figure out, hey, what's the best way we can simplify this? Mm-hmm. I would say, because there's a quote that Albert Einstein had, was like, genius is making the complex simple. Mm-hmm. And I think that's so. I think that's so key when it comes to the live musician, is because you know how it is, Todd. You can't sit there for hours tweaking and twiddling and whatever else, verb you want to use. As musicians,
Jared, give us a verb. Jared, give us a verb.
Jared, give us a verb.
I don't know.
Tweaking and twiddling. And what?
Tweaking and twiddling.
Fiddle and faddle. Fiddle faddling.
Fiddle faddling.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jared.
Perfect.
When you're fiddling and faddling. But we as musicians, as live performing musicians, don't have that time to be able to go and go from preset 2 to 46, right?
No. Right.
And so native audio is about shortening the path between A to B for the musician. So any way we could do that, that's what we're trying to shoot for. And, it's a learning experience. And I think after each design, we kind of learn a little bit more about ourselves. And that's the really cool thing about native audio, is we're constantly reflecting and seeing where we can improve as designers, as musicians. But it's been crazy.
Well, one of the things I want to touch on this really quick, and it goes to your build. We mentioned DSP earlier. Would you mind, for anybody that may not be familiar with DSP, would you mind just briefly explaining that?
Yeah, so DSP is digital signal processing, and there's two methods. There's different methods of being able to take the guitar signal or the instrument signal and kind of tweaking it, flipping it, flabbing it, and making some sort of different outcome. Right? Mm-hmm. It's kind of think of that like you have a black box, you have something that comes in, you have something that comes out, and with that black box, what you're doing, you can have DSP or you can have analog technology. And DSP, digital signal processing, you're basically taking a computer and you're changing the way that signal is affected. And a lot of DSP stuff, you can see delays, reverbs, go down the line.
So one of the reasons that I bring up the whole DSP thing and some of the things that I was curious about with Mike's early build is that in the middle of everybody, I think, basing a lot of their value or worth as a builder in hand populating or, hand soldering every single little part in there, Mike was like doing DSP and surface mount. And there weren't a lot of boutique builders doing that at the time. And you just went for it. Now, you also have some, your background and your education allows you probably to come to that conclusion a little bit sooner than a lot of other builders who are just kind of fighting their way through it. But a key element in that is that those efficiencies do help out with controlling variances and potential part failures, right?
Yeah, no, that's you perfectly answered it. And just to give you a little bit of like an example of that is, so we have one of our products, we have the Midnight Phaser, And the Midnight Phaser uses JFET technology, which is analog technology, to be able to get the phasing sound. And we could have used a DSP chip to make the phasing sound, but we didn't. And that's just a little bit on us, because we wanted to that's just our angle we wanted to do with that product, is we just wanted to make it analog, but it's digitally controlled. But here's the frustration with that product. So that product probably has, I would say, almost 100 components in it. And 4 of those components are JFETs that we, at the shop, individually. So we get a huge roll of 1,000+ transistors, and we literally, I kid you not, go one by one. And actually we have a little tool I built that measures the specific voltage or the specific electrical characteristics of these JFETs. And so, like, literally one by one, we group them together. And okay, that has a value of 0.8. Okay, that goes in a 0.8 group. And so we actually go one by one of these thousands of JFETs and group them up in 4s. And it takes some time, but that's kind of the thing that you deal with when you go with analog versus digital, is where you could have something where it's code being written. This is a little bit more time consuming. I don't know. That's the difference.
Well, and correct me if I'm right at any point in time, but I think from what I know about what you're doing is, anytime that you are creating tone, or you're trying to establish tone, you tend to lean on analog stuff for that, but you're going to digital for controlling that tone or developing modulation. Yeah,
that's basically what we're doing.
Dang, man, I'm on a roll tonight,
dude.
Baby.
You are on a roll. So, and I guess that's where having the digital control allows you to have, because this is all code I could just sit down and write. Like, if I want my tremolo to go a little bit faster, then I can just type in and change a line of code. And then if I want it to go even slower, I could just go in and type in, and now it's going even slower. Whereas if it was in the analog world, and I was having it controlled analog through an analog system, then I would be limited to kind of what the values of those components could were. Right. So but
you're like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, except with pedals.
Very cloudy. Very cloudy. Oh, geez, yeah.
So we've established where you've been, where you're from, why you can do the things you can do, the wizardry that you call native audio. I know that you've got something cooking that you're very, very excited about, as are we.
Yeah, very excited. You want me to share?
No, that's. Nope. I just wanted to put that out
episode.
There. Good night.
Yes. Bye.
Tell the world, man. Yeah. Say it, man.
Okay, so before I go into this, let me preface a little bit about the company and the product lines and kind of where we're going as far as a company.
Sounds good.
So earlier, when we made the transition from Red House to native, we kind of the market, and even today the market's really heavy with overdrive, distortion, fuzz, right?
Yes, I love it.
I know, I love it too, and which is perfect. Everybody kind of has their own taste, but where we kind of wanted to kind of get an upper hand, and you kind of shared a little bit on this, is we had Native Audio had a lot of knowledge in the digital area as far as control. And we built a lot of analog circuits that were digitally controlled, all this other mess. But we kind of really stuck in the pocket of modulation. We had the tremolo, then we came out with the Ghost Ridge reverb, and then we came out with the Wilderness delay. So we're kind of hanging around like modulation area. Then last year, May, we released our first overdrive pedal that was in the product line. And
as native audio, not Red House, because I remember you had the Mint.
So as Red House and kind of native audio, we actually had the Mint Drive, Eagle Feather, and Running Wolf.
Right.
And those pedals, I completely dropped out of the line because I was like, nope, we're gonna strive, or we're gonna focus on exactly what we know how to do and where we can kind of separate ourselves from the noise. And so we kind of focused on the modulation stuff. Well, then come down the line, we kept on getting requests. Hey, overdrive, fuzz.
Yes.
And and so we ended up releasing on last year, May, 2021, May, we released the Kiayo. And Kiayo is Blackfeet for bear. Really, really cool pedal. It's a sick pedal. It's personally something that, and I'm probably selfish when I come to doing a lot of these designs, but it's like sound that I'm looking for in an overdrive, or sound I'm looking for in a reverb, or sound I'm personally looking for in a delay.
Right.
Well, that's as it should be. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And the really cool thing is, since Native Audio has grown and we were able to add another team member, Micah, to the team, I'm now being able to get his input on a lot of these products, which his ridiculously has some crazy knowledge on all things pedal, all things gear. But we released the Kiayo overdrive, and that was halfway through the year when we did that release, and we ended up closing out the year with the Kiayo being our number one seller for the entire year.
That's great.
Insane. Man. Crazy. Just it blew our mind. And so going forward,
so you sold all 24 of them?
So all 24 of them to my mom and dad.
Nice.
Yeah. I had all my family members
door to door. Would you sponsor my pedal build? Please just sign here.
Please, would you buy this? So, so we ended the year with the Kiayo being our best seller. And going forward, we're like, holy crap. People do, there's something, and I think there's something with a brand coming out with something specific, certain, like, Nike releases a water bottle, and somebody's like, I love Nike shoes, I want a Nike water bottle.
Yeah.
That's branding.
So
baby.
there's branding out of where, so Native Audio, this is overdrive. We had a phenomenal response because a lot of people that were carrying the Ghost Ridge, carrying the Wilderness, they were able to throw this on their board too. So killer response.
Now
so we sit back.
That pedal, is that a full digital pedal, or is it digital controlled analog?
No. So it's actually, it's analog.
Okay.
It actually does feature a switching method, which allows it to be turned on momentary or latch. So if you press it, it turns on like a normal pedal.
Okay.
Right? Or if you hold your foot on the foot switch, it'll come on as long as you're holding your foot down on the foot switch, and then you can let go. So say you're in the middle of a song and you have a lick that you play for 2 seconds. You can actually hold your foot on that foot switch and play for that 2 seconds, and then let go, and then the pedal's off. So
you're reading my mind, man.
Yes, it's responsive to I guess how long you're holding your foot on the foot switch.
It's pretty handy.
But yeah, very handy. So going forward, we sit back and we're sitting on a pile of, there's probably tons of other companies that are like this, but we're sitting on a pile of ideas, tons of ideas, ideas that I wish tomorrow, if I had the funds, I would just go and buy all the boards for these, buy all the enclosures, and get these done, right? Mm-hmm. But we can't. So we sit down. Okay, what should we come out with next? And so we're sitting on a couple releases for the rest of this year that we're going to be kicking out here. But the first in line is something that we kind of are. It's kind of continuing the story that the Kiayo laid down. And what we're releasing here on the 22nd, so this is a Guitar Knobs exclusive, and we're releasing it's called the War Party. And the War Party.
You have my attention.
Yes. So you hear War Party, it automatically has to be something that's mean, right? And that's exactly what it is. We took everything that we learned in the Kiyo, and we actually applied that with a gain structure similar to, we actually applied that to a gain structure that could be found in the Proco Rat. And what we're doing is we're actually taking we're not trying to beat around the bush. We're just saying, guys, this is exactly what we did. We took the Proco Rat's gain circuit, and we took all the material, the kind of, I guess, very, very unique elements of the Kiyo, and applied that to the circuit. And what you ended up with is a Rat-based circuit that seriously sounds so warm. And then when you turn the gain up, it doesn't get fuzzy, it doesn't get fizzy, it's just clean. And it's not clean in the sense like a clean tone, but clean as in like it's a very controlled distortion.
I like that.
It's tight as it could be.
That's cool. Now, one of the things that I actually don't like, and if I get this wrong, everybody out there, for Pete's sakes, just be gentle with me. But I like the sound of a Rat to a degree.
Yep.
And honestly, I like the idea of the sound of the Rat.
Yeah.
But what I find is that I don't like the compression that I feel like I get from it. It starts to kind of close in, and it doesn't tend to stay open on me. And I feel like tonally and I guess signal wise, it becomes a little over. I guess I just overly boxed in. I don't know how else to explain that right now, but
like when you turn the gain up.
Yeah.
No, I get it. Yeah, and the point you're making is exactly. And one of the other things that I don't like about that, all these rap people are going to hate on me, but is I really don't feel like the Rat has that much. Like I feel like there's a point where it just kind of lets off the edge, right? Where as you turn the gain up, it's kind of like the higher end hasn't been that fine tuned, at least to my ear.
Yeah.
And that's kind of something that we decided to do was we decided to go and clean up the edges on that Rat. And there's a couple other really cool things that we learned while developing the Kiyo that just really allowed us to kind of take a unique perspective on it.
I figured out what I had in my head, how this translates. Tony's going to... he might throw one of these glasses at me. But to me, when you start juicing the Rat up, it's the difference between when Bon Scott lays into a vocal and when Brian Johnson lays into a vocal. Where you know what I mean? Like Bon Scott sounds like a howling banshee, and Johnson goes, it's like, no, I don't want that. And that's what I get and you can see him tightening up, and he's like closing up, and he's gritting his teeth and everything.
No, that's exactly.
I think I'm not going to throw a glass at you. I thought that was a very good comparison.
Was that a good impersonation?
Or analogy.
Yeah.
Is it an analogy?
What does Edward James almost think about that impression? I think it was a very good impression.
Oh man.
Anyways,
so with digital pedals. You and I have talked about this before, but maybe our listeners would like to know. I mean, on average, how many lines of code go into programming these things?
Yeah. So wait, just to clarify, this is not a digital pedal.
Okay. But the other native audio.
With the other native audio lines, it honestly depends. So and I don't want to get too nerdy with this, but like with our Ghost Ridge reverb, there's actually 2 different chips that each have their own instruction set. So there's 2 different languages that I'm programming the Ghost Ridge with. One's like for the DSP, and that has its own language, which probably is around like maybe like 100 lines of code, 100 fuzz. But the other language, which does all the inputs, so you click a switch, you hold the switch, you flip, turn a knob or whatever. That's the thing that it's called the microcontroller. And what that's doing is it's controlling the entire system. It's the heart, it's the ears, it's the eyes. And that probably has about 1,600 lines of code, I would say. Yeah,
that's crazy.
So there's a lot. It's not like you just get the chip and say, "Hey, do the thing," and it does it. There's a lot. Exactly. There's a lot of work, and the reason that we're calling that out is just there is. I think we need to appreciate.
Yeah, it's not like these things come pre-programmed. You actually have to sit down and figure out what the chip is going to do, and the controllers are going to do, and everything like that. So there is a lot of work that goes into this, and a lot of thought, probably more than work.
Yes.
One more thing of that War Party.
Yeah.
And also with the Kiyo, this is something that we kind of hit on with both of those. Is like of course, there's never going to be an overdrive. There's never going to be a distortion, a fuzz. That's going to be the end all. Right.
That's why we need them all.
That's why we need them all. But there is something to be said of like a pedal that has a wide range of use. Like this overdrive, I can use it for song 1, 2, 3, and 4, not just song 1.
Yeah.
Right. And that's kind of where we approach these designs, is like where I don't want this being the one trick pony. Like that would be ridiculous. And so with the Kiyo and with the War Party, a lot of design consideration has been put into this, where these products, they respond to your volume. Right. So like, not only is it just the pedal, but it's also the guitar that's changing it. And then also, of course, the amp. But it's been really fun just playing around and I guess designing, kind of taking a break from the modulation stuff and really just focusing on this overdrive stuff.
Killer.
And seeing where we could, shake the industry. Yeah. It's a lot of me sitting at a desk, flipping a switch and going,
hopefully a bigger desk, a taller desk now with better lighting.
Todd, I think you'd be disappointed. Actually, I have a smaller desk.
No, you do not.
Yeah, a smaller desk and maybe a little bit bigger monitor, but it's literally just my desk just has my laptop and my monitor.
Is it taller at least? Are you still hunched over? I feel bad for you.
No, it's probably not.
Let's get him a desk.
Yeah. No, I don't. Less is more, guys. Come on.
All right.
All right. Well,
all
you've established
a TV tray.
The what?
A TV tray.
That's true. You just do that. So you've got that big pedal coming out. We know that you have a lot more, so we can be looking to Native Audio for some really quite a few more awesome things.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. Thank you for sharing that.
No, of course.
And thank you for being the dude you are. We have a huge amount of love for you, buddy. Well, thank you for continuing to push the limits out there.
Yeah.
Speaking of pushing the limits, we're gonna push the limits of the El Camino right now, and we're gonna swing by Jared's house and grab him.
Right.
And
did you get the jump seats installed yet?
He wasn't there for that.
Oh, I know, but
yeah.
Did you, Todd?
Did I
get them installed?
No, the local pick your part was out of the Subaru Brat jump seats. Yes. But anyways, we'll keep looking, and if we can't, then maybe we'll get a replica of Mikey's desk.
Let's just put a couch or a love seat in the back.
So Jared, get us out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, the boys are here in the old El Camino, so it's time to play a little game of Would You Rather? this week's Would You Rather is one that I have come up with myself. I thought about it the other day.
Okay.
Staring off into the ceiling in some wee hour of the night. So here it goes. So you're at a gig with your band, and this millionaire comes up with a big old roll of $100 bills. Nice. Better yet, he's got a briefcase with $50,000 in the briefcase. Okay? And he's talking to you, and he's like, listen, I'll give you this $50,000 if you can perform a certain style and all night long, constantly. So you have to perform a certain way all night long. And he gives you 2 styles to choose from because, this is Would You Rather. So would you rather perform as Chuck Berry doing the duck walk thing nonstop all night?
You got to duck walk all night.
All night like Chuck Berry. Or Pete Townsend. You have to windmill playing all night long, nonstop. you have to destroy your guitar at the end of the show.
Oh, my God.
But you get $50,000 if you could pull it off. Now, mind you, this is a full, long night, a 4-set long night at the bar. And he's going to sit there and watch you do it.
Wow.
Wow, both of those are different. That's well chosen.
Check you out.
Man.
Went a little outside the box on that one.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. Can I ask, you said for Townsend, it's windmilling and smashing stuff, but.
Well, windmilling and then at the very end,
the grand finale.
Okay, all right. Does for the Chuck Berry thing, does it include some of the other stuff? Like when he's doing the splits with the guitar in the middle and all that business,
stuff. Like
all the stuff.
Okay.
Full Chuck Berry. Gotcha. All right, Tony, what are you doing?
I don't think I could duck walk all night. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Or do the big between the legs thing. I mean, that would not
what kind of duck walk are we talking about, Tony? Because I know that you can do that kind of duck walk.
Quack, quack.
Yeah.
And man, I mean, your arm would be sore as hell from windmilling all night.
Oh my gosh!
Not to mention
second song,
you lose blood from your fingers.
Yeah.
Ugh. But smashing the guitar at the end of the night is kind of fun. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna risk it all, and probably tear a rotator cuff and do the Pete Townsend windmill all night. Smash the guitar at the end of the night.
Okay,
that's what I'm doing.
All right, Jared.
We used to have to do that Chuck Berry thing in the Army for exercise, and it was not easy. So I'm going to do the Pete Townsend thing, and I'm going to have to windmill, throw the guitar up in the air, and break it, and throw the pieces out to the crowd. I'll make sure I bring an Epiphone or something.
Oh boy, Mike, how about yourself?
I think I'm going to do the Pete Townsend thing too. Dude, I got long legs. And you imagine having to do the Chuck Berry on these things. So I am shooting for the Pete Townsend.
Yeah. I was pretty sure I was going to say the Chuck Berry thing because even when I'm playing, like the blood just jamming in my hand is not fun. That's something I got to try to figure out how to control better. Yeah, I couldn't. It would be hard, and that's just not my jam. That Chuck Berry's style of playing. So I think I'm gonna go. We're gonna all hang out on Townsend Island.
Yay!
Yeah, for sure.
Very good. They're both very difficult to do all night long for 4 hours. You're gonna get hurt physically.
Yes, you are gonna get hurt physically for sure.
$50,000 on hospital bills.
Yeah.
Physical therapy.
Yeah. Well, that was a good one, Jared. Thank you for that.
Good thinking, Jared.
And if any of you out there have would you rather you'd like us to handle for you, please send it our way, okay? And we're going to get to that in just a second. But before we do that, Tony's got some very kind people to thank.
We all have some people to thank.
Yes.
But it's channeled through me.
Yes.
So, Todd, at this point of the show, there's a very special group of people that we love to thank. Ooh. These are our executive producers. Not just any producers, executive producers. Now, there might be a few folks wondering out there, just what is an executive producer? And probably more importantly, at least from our angle, is how do I become one? Very simple. Go over to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs. Check out a couple different levels in which you can participate, become a patron, a sponsor of this very podcast. Each level comes with some really great thank you gifts. But, there's one thing more as an executive producer that you get. And, Mike, what is that?
You get to have your name read on the thing.
That's right.
That's right. See, it's not all about ones and zeros. You get your name read on the thing.
No.
Yep.
Yeah, the thing.
So special thanks.
Oh, wait.
What?
Stop. I wanted to let you know.
What?
We are adding these honey pick picks for both the executive producers and the Grand Poobahs. So Rick Calhoun designed some special honey picks just for us.
Oh, nice!
And those are all handmade, and we're going to do that, and also tour gear patch cables.
Holy moly!
Yeah, or cable. I should say.
Cable.
We have a
cable.
limit on what we can do here. Yeah, but still, you get to try that out.
Well, on that note, how about a special thanks to these executive producers?
Yes.
Honey picks and tour gear design, cables included, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you just said.
Yeah.
Okay. Moon Guitars!
Oh.
Vader and Pedals. Drew Lopez, John Helverson. Rick Calhoun, speaking of honey picks. Mm-hmm. Trevor Gunberg. Elad Mizrahi. Jason Rausch. Mike D. Richard Kendall. Mark Garton, Matt Hart, James White, Justin Jones, Anthony Jamalero, Bill Gola, guitars, John Esterly, Anthony Lanthrop, Stefan Lamb, Michael Senchuk, Ken Sayers, Doug Christ, Darren Gregory, John Englund, Tom Brazen, John Sluhan, Rusty Sneeden, Ralph Gottschalk from Wonderful Audio Technology. What?
Yeah.
David Poe, Don Kloss, Gregory Randall, and Brett Hogarth.
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you
all very much.
You.
This has been, yes.
But wait, Todd, there's one thing more.
Uh-huh.
We have an upper echelon of executive producers. We call them our Grand Poobahs.
Correct.
These Grand Poobahs must wear a fez upon their head whilst listening to the podcast.
And at the same time.
Believe it or not. So special thanks to these Grand Poobahs.
Yeah.
Tommy Manasco, Ricardo Igareda, David Kaminga, Brandon Wound Pickups, Hex Matos, Michio Murakishi, Bob Crouch, Jack Cadian, Sam Jett, Tyler Rhines, LSJ Music Company, John Williams, James Pennington, Adam Johnson, Steve Keys, Cody Foster, Science of Sound, Brian Robison, Jonathan Jeruzik, Corey Nigro, Michael Van Zant, Tim Nowak, Jonathan Daly, Martin Cliff, Sean S. And Eddie Serratos. Thank you.
Indeed. Thank you all so much. We tapped on two of the pieces of the reward packages, but there are so many other things in those. And we're continuing to look for the right little bits and bobs to put in there. Not only just to say thank you, but also that's the way that a lot of builders get their names out too. So if you're a builder out there and you're listening and you have something that you think would make sense to go in patron reward packages, talk to us.
Yep.
And that includes like, all the little stuff, stickers and stuff. It's like, that's a ton of fun when you get a package and it just a big fat pile of stickers pours out. And, those are your brands out there. So that's what the show's about. Thank you all. All right. Mike, where can people go to find your stuff and get your stuff when your stuff is ready to get out there?
Yeah, they can head to nativeaudio.com. And we got a list of all of our awesome dealers over there. Or if you want to purchase on the website.
Perfect. And you do have a great lineup of pedals that people it's not just the latest one. Go back and get the other ones too.
Yeah.
All right, Tony, how about yourself?
Head over to pickguardian.com. Check out some of the stuff I have available for sale on the website. But, most of what I do, custom work. Shoot me an email. Let me know what you need, what you want to try to do, and I will take good care of you.
Jared, how about yourself?
Find me on Instagram somewhere.
Jared.allen.brandon.
No.
That's right.
Really? That's the one you landed on?
That's the one.
Yeah, Jared.allen.brandon.
Why not like Big Jared or something?
Because I just want to be known as a guy, not how big I am.
Yeah, come on,
That's
Todd.
fair. That's fair. Sorry.
Come on, Todd.
That's why I had to go away from handsome Todd because it's like, guys,
That's why.
enough.
Yeah, well, that replaced model Todd. Foot model Todd.
Yeah. Anyways.
So find me there, and if you want to ask me a question, ask me a question.
Yes. Or you can continue to send it through me, and we'll funnel that down to Jared. You can send me an email, todd@theguitarknobs.com, and you can Instagram direct message me at Guitar Knobs. We would love to hear your four on the floor, or just share what you're doing and maybe why you're listening and thoughts that you have about things. We welcome those, and we're always happy to hear them. So thank you all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bid Mikey Trombley a fond farewell until next time, and we eagerly await his new pedal release. Mike, thanks so much for coming back on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
You bet. All right, everybody, have a fantastic Guitar Weekend. Subscribe!
Oh, yeah!
Well, he's got a whole tumbler full of Manhattan here. Literally a whole thing.
It's a water bottle.
I gotta try to crack his egg. That's exactly what I said. I said this one's gonna win his heart.
Yeah.
This one. He'll finally claim me on his board.
Yeah.
This will be it.
Please release me. Let me go. Why not, right? Okay.
So the answer is no. Let's move on.
So the answer is no, probably. Yeah.
That's the NAM metal swell bottle full of Manhattan.
Yes. You got a problem with that?
No, but you might in a little bit.
Yeah,
That's how you get herpes.
Is that how it? Yeah.
It's the only way you can get it.
Hello, Mikey.
Yo, what's up, Todd?
Nothing much, man.
Oh, that's cool.
I feel a little bit of puke in the back of my throat right now.
but here's the thing.
Okay. I just had visions of when we were like in Chicago, that like I'm in my room and Mikey's standing over the thing with like a pedal in each hand, going, I could just do it now and end this all.
Yep. I'm having flashbacks.
Oh, so that is how it went. I see.
Yes, That's exactly how it went.
Cool. Mikey's gotta go doo-doo.
No.
That made me think of the... You know what I'm thinking? The toast of lemon. Oh my god. This is the thought of that scene. It kills me.
Oh my gosh, I gotta pee so bad. I gotta pee so bad. I kept on trying to figure out maybe I'll just go, but then I don't know if they'll call me and then
Oh boy.
dude.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Before Jared flips the table over. Gee,
I could have listened to the outtakes.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.